Bernie Sanders and MSNBC's Chuck Todd had an interesting exchange about the recent Santa Fe school shooting. In particular, there was one moment that really caught my eye. And it starts with Chuck Todd showing Bernie Sanders a Santa Fe student's reaction to the school shooting.
It's been happening everywhere. I've always kind of felt like eventually it was going to happen here too. So, I don't know. I wasn't surprised, I was just scared.
What does it say that we have high school students that, oh yeah, I expected this? How'd we get here?
Chuck, it is unspeakable. It really is. To see the kids all over this country who go to a place where they should feel safe, where they can focus on learning, are now worried about the things we saw in Texas or in Florida a few months ago.
Have you guys done enough?
Unspeakable.
Have you guys done enough in the Senate?
Of course not.
The emotion Bernie displayed there was pretty intense. You could feel the raw emotion and what felt like anger in the sense that, how could you even ask that question? Of course we haven't done enough in regards to gun reform. And you know what? Bernie's right, we haven't done enough. Not nearly enough. But don't just take my word for it. Let's take a look at the numbers and you can decide for yourself. Now before we start, if you didn't already know, we the United States have more guns per capita than any other country on earth. And it's not even close. We have 101 guns per 100 residents, while the next highest country, Serbia, only has 58.21 guns per 100 residents. In fact, according to NPR, we have more than 300 million guns. So I want you to keep this in mind when we go through these gun violence stats right now. Alright, here we go. In 2015, there were 372 mass shootings in the United States. Now, if you didn't notice, that's more shootings than days in the year. That's a lot of shootings. Furthermore, we the United States have had 31% of the mass shootings worldwide from 1966 to 2012, even though we only make up 5% of the world's population. Moreover, in 2015, about 13,286 people were killed in the United States due to firearms, while about 26,819 were injured. Now, these two figures excluded suicide. If you include suicide into the mix, there were 33,636 deaths in the United States due to firearms in 2015. But it wasn't just 2015, because approximately 1.4 million people have been killed by firearms in the U.S. between 1968 and 2011. In comparison to other developed countries, according to a 2016 CBS piece, Americans are 10 times more likely to be killed by guns than people in other developed countries. And compared to 22 other high-income nations, the United States' gun-related murder rate is 25 times higher. Also, in comparison to people in other high-income nations, Americans are 7 times more likely to die from violence. In addition, they are 6 times more likely to be killed with a gun by accident. Now, according to the aforementioned CBS News piece, the United States only has half the population of the other 22 nations combined, and yet accounted for 82% of all gun deaths among all 23 high-income countries. The United States also had 90% of the women killed by guns, 91% of the children under 14 killed by guns, and 92% of the people between the ages of 15 and 24 killed by guns. For comparison's sake, Americans aged 15 to 24 are 49 times more likely to be the victim of a gun-related murder compared to other wealthy countries. And Americans aged 25 to 34 are 32 times more likely to be the victim of a gun-related murder compared to other wealthy countries. So by now I hope that you see that guns are a major problem in the United States, and that things need to change. But chances are that you already believe that before watching this video, because according to a recent poll, 68% of Americans support stricter gun laws. Now a country we can look to for guidance is Japan. As aforementioned, we the United States, according to gunpolicy.org, have 101 guns per 100 residents. Japan, meanwhile, only has 0.6 guns per 100 residents. And again, as aforementioned, in 2015, we the United States lost about 13,286 people, excluding suicides, due to firearms, while Japan has as few as 2 gun-related homicides per year. Yes, I said 2. So to recap, we have by far the most guns per person out of any country on earth. Japan hardly has any guns, at least relative to us. Gun violence is a major problem here in the United States. In Japan, it isn't. It's pretty obvious what has to be done. We have to get rid of our guns. And I know that's a solution that many people out there do not want to hear, because a lot of us here in the United States really love our guns. But to all the gun lovers out there, sorry but not sorry. People's lives are worth more than your guns. Hey guys, if you want to help out this show, you can follow our various social media links. Also, we have a Facebook group that you can join as well. And if you want to follow me on social media, you could do that as well. Alright guys.